Hey there guys, it's me, Wardragon's Elite Gamer, and in today's episode, I will be going over attack strategies. Now, you guys might be wondering, hey Elite Gamer, what do you mean attack strategies? I'm doing fine. My dragons easily demolish bases. Well, you may say that now, but once you get to the higher levels, and once your dragons start to become more insignificant, because of you like upgrading, leveling up, stronger bases, your dragons will become very insignificant. Because no matter what the power level your dragon is, you can still lose in a base that's defended. Now, what I mean by attack strategies is what dragons should you lead with, what towers should you go for, and stuff like that. Well, anyways, let's get straight into this video, and I hope you enjoy. Now, one of the most important things is I'm gonna find a strong base. Just to describe this base right here. You perfect. Do I click attack? Yeah, there we go. So you can see that in this base, it's a pretty long base. Now, regardless of the tower level, pretend tower level is not a issue for you, or is an issue for you. But let's get into what. So, whenever you're approaching a base, there's going to be sometimes a disabled tower, such as an archmage, a mage, or so-and-so, or a shield tower, such as an Ori, or Earth, Flag Tower, or even an ice turret, which I don't think this guy has. Well, one very important thing you utilize is knowing where the towers are. So that means you have to use your tactical view to get a general idea of the levels of the towers by tapping on them and looking at their position. And then you can use the map view, yada yada yada, to see where you need to put your fingers and abilities to get the gist of your attack. Now, some towers you want to target first are going to be these disabled towers, which can really mess up your raid, not be the end of it, but will really mess up your raid. And or shielding towers, which will inevitably cause the end of your raid. There are many times where I attack with dragons, and it turns out that I underestimated their shield towers, and that caused me to fail. And I will admit it, even though I'm considered a good flyer by some and others call me excellent at flying, you got to understand that that's not always going to be the case, even for the best players in this game. Towers, like I said, you should target are disabling towers and shield towers. They are very easy to underestimate. Disabling towers, like the blue archmage or the mage, or like the red archmage, they screw you over because not only do they disable your dragon, they also disable your ability to. Well, they also disable your ability to gain rage and will take away your rage at the same time. So, when you approach an island, generally, if they have a disabled tower that wants to go down first, you want to take out that first. That's what you have to take out first. But in the case that they also have a shield tower on the same island, you want to take out the shield tower first. Otherwise, the disabling towers can get protected before you kill them. The thing is, with these shield towers, especially the Ori and the Earth Flag, they can shield an entire island. Except the Earth Flag is very different. The Earth Flag can only shield towers adjacent to it. It cannot shield an entire island. So if you see a Earth Flag in the middle of the island, you should generally target that. But if the Earth Flag is right in this corner, right here, and the Disable Tower is right here where this Ice Flag is, then you would take out the Disabling Tower and then the Earth Flag. Now, if it were the case of the Ore, you'd have to take out the Ore because it will shield everything on the island, no matter how far away it is from the Ore. Essentially, you could have an Ore here, and it will shield this entire section alongside this section, which is kind of broken. Well, not broken, it's easily avoidable. Just instantly shoot down the Ore tower. Now, how should you lead the attack? What dragons should you use? You should generally use dragons that are similar in the base, kind of. You want a dragon that can disable, such as Barband. This will be my example. I will use Libertas also as an example too, but to get the idea. His first ability, Aggression, it can disable towers for a long time, or until you attack the tower. Coralie, which is another example of mine, has Bouncing Bubbles, which will freeze a tower and do significant damage. You can combo Bouncing Bubbles with Swirlpool, which will basically make you invisible and technically immortal until you activate Slippery Mantle, which will then make you basically immortal. And you can cycle between these 3 spells very quickly without having to worry about being on cooldown deposition. Now, another dragon that I will use as an example to wipe out towers and disable them is going to be Danger Noodle, aka Tylos. Yeah, his main ability is going to be Island Maker, which will freeze every tower and make them take increased damage. Now, the more recent iteration to this disabling squad is going to be Libertas, aka my F-22 Raptor. This Libertas has an ability called Frost Shock, which is kind of like Flash Freeze or Fire Shock or whatever, which will freeze all the towers and also damage them, and make them also take a significant amount of damage, kind of like Tylos. And then you want the dragon that can survive the initial barrage. So, such as Barband, you can use this, aka Tormenting Armor, to survive the initial barrage of the towers as long as there is no blue tower to stop it. For Coralie, you can use Bouncing Bubbles to stop the initial barrage. Swirlpool to stop the initial barrage, or Slippery Mantle. Now, what do I mean by initial barrage? What I'm talking about is when all the towers are no longer on a downtime from your freezing abilities, which means they are all going to shoot on your dragon until your dragon falls. So, the more recent iteration to this is going to be Libertas with the ability to Ironclad, which will change between Howitzer and beam damage. Or you can Transfer out, which will teleport the dragon away from it. Or you can use Phantom Step. Now, Libertas is more built to take on the initial barrage than most dragons. For Tylos, you can go into Current, which will make you stealth and stay in speed, basically. Or you can use Tsunami. It'll grant you a brief invincibility. Obviously, dragons that are more able to survive the initial barrage, kind of like Carnival, which will have Blood Vortex and Ravenous Burst, are also really good. Now that you understand the general attack strategy and what you want to start an attack with, now I'm going to tell you how to follow up on an attack. Now that you've taken out the disabling towers and the shield towers, you can now use your heavy hitters, which will most likely be your strongest dragon in your roster. For me, it's going to be Libertas, aka F-22 Raptor, or Coralie, my second strongest dragon, the one that I'm better with, because of the Bouncing Bubble, Swirlpool, and the Slippery Mantle cycling. Obviously, every season, there is a new dragon that will fit the meta, which is basically the general ideology that the dragon is going to follow for being powerful. And bases will change. You will face a lot of interesting bases. You need to learn how to attack them. Now, for instance, if I were to start an attack on this, which I will do shortly in a minute after taking a look at all the levels, I can probably take on this base. First try too. Okay, I can take this on. Level 37, 36, 51, 35, 31. Make sure you can attack it. Then you want to start off with your initial Destructo Dragon. In this case, it will be Libertas for me. Anywho's, I'm going to show you how you would take on a base like this. Now, obviously, this is non-defended, but if it were defended, the initial strategy stays the same. Careful here is what I gotta do. Oh, shoot. As you can see, I reacted quick enough so I would not die. This allows me to stay alive for longer. Until I just died. But you get the idea. It allows you to stay alive for a significant amount of time longer than you would be able to. Now, if you're quick with this, you can wipe out a tower, freeze at the same time. Not the best attack. For sure, I'm losing this. There's nothing I can do about it, because I made a mistake, but you saw the general idea. Take out the disabling tower, and then the rest is history. You don't know, though. You never know. You could probably just take out the base further. You just gotta be really lucky sometimes to take out bases. Yeah, like right there, I got really lucky. There's no saying that I did not get lucky and that I was skill. That was just pure luck. Now, immediately target the disabling towers, shield, and I was going to mantle, but didn't get the chance to. But that gives you like the general idea. Now, let me try and do this again with another base that's relatively strong on the same string. This base right here, it's relatively around the same string. Just a little bit weaker. Tower level wise, yes, weak. Just making sure my battery's not dead, sorry. Anyways, start off with auto mode. This is how I use all my sources. I will use auto mode. Now, some people say that's cheating. Shut up. That's a joke, by the way. It's not cheating to use auto mode on a sorcerer, because it's kind of hard to multitask. Obviously, there are some times where it's better if you do not use auto mode, and you manually do it, but those cases rarely ever happen. Unless you're attacking a very tricky base. Well, in that case, then it's very possible to happen. Now watch as I approach this island. I'm going to immediately have bouncing bubbles ready. Swirlpool, do that, and boom. I was prepared to take on that initial barrage, and then I died, because cooldowns are a thing. Anyways, that initial barrage tower, or disabling tower, is basically nothing now. Now when I approach, I'm going to freeze, target that disabling tower, and boom. Freeze again, save my dragon, teleport, freeze, teleport back. Ooh, that was a close one, wasn't it? Ooh, that was a rough one. These towers are level 130. Easy work for my danger noodle. Boom, 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 boom. Took that like a champion. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Maybe I should not make a mistake here. Oof, that was rough. Almost lost there. Which it's very possible to lose a battle that you have won. You just gotta be very careful so you don't do that. As you can see there, I kind of whiffed, but you got the general idea. You want to target disabling towers and then do your barrage surviving abilities, which will make it to where you are easily able to win against any strong bases or strong for your level, yada yada yada. I appreciate you for staying all the way through and watching the show. Thank you.